So is the God of Abraham mostly his ego God? Yeah. Yeah. Where else did these claims come from, right? Abraham heard a voice telling him to go do these great things and to take this whole swath of land. Well, of course. Where does that come from? We're either going to say he's actually crazy and hearing voices and we need to, check him in. And if I make a reference to hearing voices, I don't actually mean to be dismissive or even judgmental of people who hear voices. That is not my intent at all. I actually think we should take that very seriously and respect the human being who is dealing with that. Okay. But we have 2 or 3 important men in the Christian Bible who talk openly about hearing voices, right? Abraham talks openly of having a conversation with God. Paul talks about it. And Jesus kind of talks about it a little bit, right? But anyway, there are probably some others in the mix as well. But I'm just saying, in this case, Abraham tells us over and over, or the story tells us that God spoke to Abraham, God speaks to Moses, God spoke to so-and-so, right? God speaks to Joshua, all these men. They hear, are they hearing a voice? Or is it just they had this epiphany, they had this revelation or this idea? They had an idea. They wanted to go do a thing. Just say that. No, it's way more powerful if you can say, God told me to do this, right? I think we all get that. But I couldn't have said this, what I just said for the last 30 seconds. I couldn't have said that. Not when I was in my 20s. I couldn't have said that because I believed it. I believed the scriptures when they said that God spoke to Abraham. I believed that God actually spoke to Abraham. I hadn't even stopped to consider that that was just a really great, just an idea that Abraham had. And there are, 4,000 years or so of tradition based on that premise that God spoke to Abraham. I'm going to give you and your descendants this particular swath of land, and I'm going to make you numerous, and I'm going to write and all these things. And so I come from a tradition that honored those claims as actually coming from God. So it took some time for me to be able to question the validity of that claim, that it actually came from God, right? And then to be able to say, well, if it just was his idea, then doesn't that mean it's up for debate or it's up for being challenged? And yes, it is up for being challenged, because whatever its intentions and purposes were, 3,500 years ago or so, it served a purpose then. Not trying to challenge that. It did serve a purpose. It helped bring about cohesion and community and a form of an identity. But it also has been the cause of those promises given to Abraham by God have been the cause of a great deal of harm to millions of people over the centuries. So I think it does us all some good if we can be able to take a step back and see what's happening in terms of the narrative, and then also critique it for it's just a story. There was no God behaving this way. But it's a belief in a God, and it's like a placeholder, You ascribe it to your God as a way of justifying your claims and your beliefs, or even helping you stay focused, for instance. So